There is an encounter in this level I alluded to at the end of the last video that is either the second hardest fight in the game or the hardest fight in the entire game. It's when it puts you up against 10 Spec Ops elites, which I assume will be in this game, although if not Spec Ops elites, then I assume it'll at least be Ultras or Commandos or something, some high-ranking elite. In the last two missions of Combat Evolved, you started seeing Spec Ops Grunts and Spec Ops elites when you hadn't seen them at any point prior to that in the campaign. I'm hoping the same is true here, but I at least, if nothing else, I hope they keep that encounter intact, because that is a really, really nice challenge. And I kind of want to see how, because there isn't an achievement in this game for tying up loose ends, which is, for those who don't know, when you fight every enemy on keys instead of just running straight to the end like the game encourages you to, and as I'm sure I'll be encouraged to this time. I want to see if I will be able to fight everything, but we got to get to that point first, so let's go.
I'm reading the captain's transponder. He's in the control room, but I'm not detecting any human life signs.
Don't be a fool. Leave me.
Captain? Captain! I've lost him.
I don't think there's been a single line... What? What the fuck? What was that? What was that? Bro? 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 Oh, okay. I guess the grunts aren't programmed to attack unless they're specifically standing right there in that part of the level. Interesting. So, not a great start. I mean, it's a good start seeing the Flood infecting Truth and Reconciliation the same way it infected High Charity in Halo 2. That's nice. Not a great start that I fired like one plasma pistol shot at the combat form and he just fucking vaporized in front of me. And then also that the grunt clearly is not programmed to actually fight me outside of his pre-programmed arena, because he did not fire a single shot at me until he stepped into the play space. That's pretty transparently terrible. But yeah, we've known for pretty much the whole game that there's some AI issues present here.
Analyzing damage. This hole was caused by some kind of explosive. Very powerful if it tore through the ship's hull. All I detect down there are pools of coolant.
Yeah, I'm not gonna point it out every time it happens because it would get redundant at a certain point, but okay, time to run. But oh, and no loading screen too.
The crash did more damage than I
Oh.
suspected. Analyzing. Coolant leakage rate is significant. The ship's reactors should already have gone critical. We should head this way towards the ship's gravity end.
Active camo is so fucking useless in this game, it's actually pissing me off how worthless this power-up is. Like, look, why even have it? Honestly, why even have the camo when they can still see you even when you have it?
Blessed explosion.
The first fucking thing, this guy wasn't even in the room until 2 seconds ago, and okay. It's insane how worthless the active camo is as an ability. I was gonna praise how much cooler the hole in the ship area looked, but then I realized it doesn't cut to a cutscene and you just fall down, and even though, like, you don't swim in the coolant water anymore, it's like ankle high, and somehow, even though we established there is fall damage in this game, it doesn't seem to impact you at all. You don't take damage, and you can't even land in the pool. So that's strange. Yeah, I'm just routinely disappointed by how useless the camo is. I don't know why they thought they needed to make it less powerful. Also, is that a sniper rifle? I think he's trying to snipe me. Or maybe it's actually probably just a pistol. Yeah, it's a pistol, okay. Actually, maybe I shouldn't have the pistol. I'm still kind of operating off CE brain, like Combat Evolved brain, like the muscle memory I have from the original game. But the thing is, pistol's not that powerful At least not compared to other UNSC weapons. It's still good, it works, but it's obviously nowhere near the power level it used to be at. And I don't think it's worth. It used to be all you needed against the Flood was the pistol and the shotgun, and you were pretty much home free. But I don't think that's really the case in this version of the game. Okay, let's activate it now.
I gave you an order, Spartan. Now pull out.
He's delirious, in pain. We have to find him.
Surely even entering a new area where there's no way they could know I'm here in advance. Surely this will prevent me from being spotted. Surely. No way. No way you reacted to me. There's no way. Yeah, okay, so it confirmed it is just useless. It does not have any meaningful impact. I'm sure it means you get spotted less quickly, but you still get spotted, when in the original game, that's not how that worked. Okay. Okay. Yep, so active camp. Oh, wait, did I get a checkpoint?
He's delirious.
Okay, good, I got a checkpoint.
We have to find him.
You never know in this game. You never fucking know. Could go one way or the other. Yeah, and just to be clear, the core gameplay loop is still fun. I still am enjoying playing the game. It's just I would prefer if I had active camo as an option when playing the game instead of not. It's like because I don't need to use it. Clearly, I can still just play without it, but it's the fact that when I try to use it and when I try to capitalize off the utility that one would think you would gain from using it, I am instead punished for doing so. And I still fucking despise the insta-kill melee. It's not even that it's insta-kill, by the way. It's not even just that it's insta-kill, even though that is still terrible. It's also that, unlike the first game, unlike the original game where there is a clear wind-up animation for their melee attack, in this version, it's exactly the same as it was in Halo 4 and Halo Reach, where it's just instantaneous 1/6 of a second, no time to react at all. And I hated it in both of those games, even though I still like both of those games. I want to make it clear. Doesn't mean I hate this game. I enjoy both Reach and 4 in spite of those glaring issues. But specifically because Combat Evolved was one of the games where it actually you do have ample time to react to the enemy's melee. It makes it even more annoying that that's not the case in this game. He still has shield, no point in shooting him with a pistol when he still has his shield up. I think I'm gonna go SMG pistol for this. I can drain your shield from range, and then, oh, didn't even need to switch to the pistol. Didn't even need to switch to the pistol, because the SMG took him out for me. And, yeah, I don't want to call it out every time it happens, because it will get annoying if I keep doing it. But the way they've converted all these sections is absolutely... Did this guy grab my shotgun? That's a hilarious bait and switch I didn't even plan for. I think one of the corpses got reanimated and he just grabbed the nearest weapon he could find, which was my old shotgun with 2 shots left in it. So he thought he was going to be able to use it to kill me, but it turns out, oh wait, there's almost no ammo in it. I mean, not that that matters, because obviously the AI has unlimited ammo. I just love the idea that if he were a real... If this were real, oh my god. If he were actually a real soldier, he would have just been baited hardcore by my terrible, ammo-exhausted shotgun. Yeah, I don't want to keep saying it because it will get repetitive, but I'm a big fan of the color scheme, how much more ominous this all feels. Oh, hey, needle rifle. Should I give it a shot? Let's give it a shot after I kill this guy. Let's give it a shot. Why not? I mean, it doesn't have much ammo in it, but still could be worth giving a good old try. Thank you. This thing's mainly only useful against brutes, and there are no brutes in the CE campaign, so I don't know how viable it'll be, but we can certainly give it a try. I also love that you actually need to use the flashlight to really get a good sense of vision in front of you, because in Anniversary, you did not at all need to. In fact, it was more tactically advantageous to switch to Anniversary graphics than it was to use your flashlight. Because It's so bright in Anniversary you didn't need your flashlight at all.
Wait, the Covenant and Flood are attacking each other. I recommend we wait until they've worn each other down. Then we'll only have to deal with distractions.
Thank you, Cortana. It's not like I haven't figured that out already. I think this game would have been markedly improved if we just cut Cortana out of it altogether. Like, or at least, well, what would improve it is if we made her dialogue the way it was in the original game, but obviously they didn't want to do that. The way she's implemented now, I just can't stand anything she has to say. All right. Well, that worked. That was incredibly efficient in taking out the Flood. These guys are unrelenting. In the original game, the Flood would kind of just leave you alone up here, but that is decidedly not the case in this version, which is a good thing. I'm glad they're more aggressive. I just wasn't expecting them to be. All right, I'd like to take you out from here. Okay, good. Tank form's taken out. Give me that beam rifle. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Yeah, you can't swim in the coolant anymore. I assume they changed this because of an accessibility thing, just people finding it too hard to navigate in the coolant. I can only assume that's the reason why this was changed, because yeah, it could be a little difficult to navigate under the water, and I assume they were like, well, there's nothing to find down there, there's no reason to do it, may as well just cut it. But it would at least make the drop from the ship more believable if you fell into a pool of liquid and not just the ground, especially since we established there is fall damage in this game. God, they are so fucking tanky. And I don't even dislike the tank. God, will you? Good lord. I don't dislike the tank forms. I'm glad they're here. But did they really need to take 8 billion hits to go down? I don't think that was absolutely necessary, personally. Hello. I'm glad they had a Jackal Sniper there, because one, that's a good place for a Jackal Sniper to be. Makes sense for him to be there. And two, it allows, uh-oh, I don't have a sniper anymore. Oh shit. I should have been conserving the, yep. I should have remembered, because I always snipe that guy out of the turret. I should have been conserving that. Where was the checkpoint? Okay, good checkpoint. Good checkpoint. I know now to be more cautious. And I still don't get why it sometimes gives me checkpoints and sometimes doesn't. Alright, that shade turret is going to be mine. This is the only time in the game where I actually get in the shade turret in the original game. And it's actually viable for this part. Can you get off my gun, dude? There's a camoed combat form up above my gun. You're just gonna be annoying like that, huh? I'll be taking that SMG for myself, please and thank you. Like, so much for my shade turret strat. I usually like to jump in that shade turret. I can kind of just sit there and take out the waves of Flood that come rushing around the corner, but they're a little too aggressive in this game for that. They were hounding me on that thing. Alright, I'm gonna go assault rifle mode. Whoa. Hey. Oh no. Please tell me this is still operational. It sure isn't. It most certainly was not. Have a grenade. That's a wall. That's a wall. Oh my lord. Stay away from me. Yeah, I think the SMG is definitely the way to go against the Flood. Plasma rifle to take care of any of the infection forms or any of the combat forms that have shields, like this guy, for instance. And then the SMG for the normal guys. A lot more of these guys have shields than I would have expected. The main reason why I like to be in the shade turret for this part is because the Flood kind of just keep coming. they're not infinitely spawning, but they can feel like they're infinitely spawning, so it makes the process go by a lot faster if you get in the shade turret, but they must have thought of that because they made it a less viable strat this time around. Hey, I would appreciate it if you don't sword me with that. I'll yoink that. Okay, let me clear out all these guys with the SMG. In the hopes that maybe if I clear them all out, it'll give me a checkpoint before going into the next section. Because I would really rather not have to redo this encounter. I would very much prefer to not have to redo all that. Let's go pause the rifle, but that doesn't have much ammo either. Are you fucking... Really? Really? There was a sword guy behind me, and now I'm all the way back here. How about... Let me just fucking sprint through it after I shoot this guy and kill his little friends. Let me see if I can just abuse this game's terrible gameplay mechanic and see if I can just run past the whole thing.
Power source detected. There's the gravity lift. Still operational. That's already enough. The captain, his vitals are fading. Please, Chief, hurry.
She just doesn't care. She actually just doesn't give a fuck about anything. Please, Chief, hurry. The captain is dying. Painfully. Brutally. You should really care about this. Can't you tell how much I care from the sound of my voice? So, you know how I said that Sprint was going to encourage people to just run past encounters and trivialize the difficulty? Well, here we are in the future, and that's exactly what it is. Like, I'll be honest, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying that this game is so much easier than the original now, and I didn't really understand what they meant by that, because, like, obviously they introduced a bunch of other mechanics specifically designed to make it harder to compensate for the fact that they don't have a health system anymore. And by harder, I mean unfair because of the insta-kill things that hunters can do and things of that nature. So I didn't really know what people were talking about. Now I do. They're talking about Sprint and how Sprint completely nullifies any elements of difficulty that could otherwise be present in this game because you can just run. And that probably was one of the tougher fights in this part of the level, is because there's so many Flood there, and yet I still managed to run through, like, all of them. And obviously, as you can see here, there are some parts where you do have to kill enemies. Like, I'm sure you can't just run through the entire campaign. But the point is the ability to do, like, there's many reasons why I've been deliberately avoiding sprinting through this mission. Part of it is just because I hate the way it makes the game feel. I prefer always moving at maximum speed at all times. Having to constantly stop and start and stop and start just feels fucking terrible. But the other part of it is that I wanted to actually engage with a challenging gameplay experience and not be able to madly run through everything. But that section pissed me off because of the horrible checkpoint system. So I decided to test to see how accurate that criticism was, and turns out, yep, it's spot on the money. Oh, hey. Didn't even realize one of you had a rocket launcher. I should probably ditch this for a different weapon since there's so little ammo left for it. Oh, like a shotgun, for instance. Thank you for hand-delivering that to me. You really shouldn't have. So kind of you. Alright. Part of me wants to see if I can save the overshield for the battle against the 10 Spec Ops Elites, assuming there is a battle against 10 Spec Ops Elites. But since we just got a checkpoint, mercifully just got a checkpoint, I think I'm gonna try to go as long as I can. If this ends up being too much to handle for whatever reason, then we can always pop on the overshield. Because this is ordinarily where I turn it on in the original game. But, well, I say that as if I have a choice in the matter. I have to in the original game because you don't get a choice. You pick it up and it's automatically activated. But this is where I always would use it, so I didn't really have the ability to use it later. But now I do, so I kind of want to see if I can actually get it that far. Interesting. Not exactly sure what that was. The only thing I can possibly fathom as to what that is he's giving Cortana, or he's trying to give us information that he knows we're probably looking for, so that we leave and don't risk getting ourselves killed trying to rescue him. That's all I can fathom for what the hell that was. Also, I didn't get the overshield as far as I wanted, but that's alright. I didn't need it in the original game for that encounter, so I don't think I'll need it this time either. I just wanted to see if I probably could if I played a bit more stealthily. Oh my god, so many of these guys. Oh, hey. Is that a sniper? I think it's just a pistol, but either way, I'm not taking any chance. Yeah, it's just a pistol. Hi. Hey. I think I'm gonna grab the needle rifle. Needle rifle works pretty well for long-range encounters. At least in that one fight I had against the Flood, this worked out pretty nicely.
Looks like another shuttle bay. We should be able to reach the control room from the 3rd level.
You say another shuttle bay as if it's not just the same shuttle bay from the first time we came here. Was hoping to get both the grunts and the oh no. Both the grunts and the elite with one shotgun blast. Okay. Well, since I know they're gonna spawn there, I'll just lob grenades at the door now. Somehow that went right past this guy. Interesting. Are there hunters down here? Because there were hunters down here in the original game. Well, these guys are here, so I assume the hunters are too. Which means, yep, they sure are. Hold still, pal. Oh my lord, what? Oh, there's also elites down there? Oh my, okay. Did not realize there were also elites down there. Thought it was just gonna be the hunters. You know, there's a reason they didn't shove... So, the concept of difficulty balancing, right? This might be a new concept to the people who made this game, but you typically don't want to shove 2 hunters and 2 spec ops elites and a whole squad of grunts with fuel rod guns in the same tight, narrow, claustrophobic, linear hallway. There's a reason why in the original game, they had the hunters here, and then they had all the grunts out here, separate from each other, not all trying to kill you simultaneously. And also the Flood were here, which meant it was even less painful, because it was another element of play that was distracting the Covenant, so it made things easier for you. But all of that nuance has obviously been lost on them. Now the real question is, will the enemies be here when I come back? Because in the original game, you could come and clear these guys all out in advance to make it easier for you later. Will that be consistent in the remake? Could take it or leave it. I'm betting probably not. But, hey, they've surprised me before. Maybe they'll surprise me again. Maybe they will surprise me again.
I can hear their whispers.
I will say the fact that there were no elites out here. So you shoved, instead of doing what the original game did, you had, like, there were enemies out here in the original. There were actually people that were trying to kill you. Now it's just completely empty. There's just nobody here. There were no enemies anywhere out here. But they crammed all... How about fuck you? Really? As I was saying, there's no enemies out here, but they crammed 2 hunters, 2 spec ops elites, and a squad of fuel rod gun grunts all down into the same tiny little hallway. Nice. That makes a lot more sense than what the original game did. What's gonna be down here? 10 hunters in an even smaller hallway? Oh, you know what I haven't actually paid attention to? Is, hold on, wait. We need to test something. I was worried that wouldn't be the case. The Jackal's shields aren't changing color anymore when you shoot them. They get brighter, but they don't change color, which they did in the original. That was an indicator. I mean, you know, in fairness, this could be chalked up to a more minor issue since they do still indicate that they are taking damage when you shoot them because they get brighter. But that's just not as interesting as them changing color altogether. But I mean that's a drop in the bucket compared to. I like that. Getting a better peek into Captain Keyes' mind, tying him more explicitly into his family, because a lot of people probably don't. Well, I know people definitely don't know this thanks to the fucking Halo show, but they don't. A lot of people don't know Halsey and Keyes were together, and Miranda Keyes is their daughter together. They you know, obviously everyone knows Miranda Keyes is Captain Keyes' daughter. That's an explicit plot point. But what a lot of people don't know is that she's also the daughter of Captain Keyes. Like they had her together. So I like that they are more explicitly trying to tie the Keyes family, or I guess the Keyes Halsey Keyes, I don't know, whatever. Tie the family together. I honestly wish that the game did more of this stuff, because the way they were talking about it leading up to release, it kind of gives the impression that they just didn't want to change anything. They're like, oh, Common Evolved, perfect video game, 10 out of 10, no notes, nothing can be improved, which gives off the impression that they aren't going to change anything about it. But even though they should, like, if I were in charge of a remake, I would want to incorporate more of the additional story elements from the novelization. So I thought they weren't going to do that, but thankfully they're doing, well, they're still not doing anything, like, they're not doing any of the alpha-based stuff or any of those subplots, but they are still adding some things. Like we heard Cortana allude to the existence of brutes by saying that she overheard the Covenant going like, oh man, nasty apes, what a weird thing to say. We must have made quite the impression on them, when of course we know that they're not referring to us, they're referring to brutes. We love a good AI moment. Certified campaign evolved AI moments. So I like those. I appreciate that stuff. I just wish there was more of it, you know? I wish they did more of that kind of stuff. Feels like a missed opportunity to not. Not exactly sure where you came from, because there was nothing behind me a minute ago, but I was kind of missing the whole spawning enemies behind me thing. Alright. Let's go get Captain Keyes.
Control room should be this way.
I can feel them crawling inside my mind. But I won't give in.
Are they gonna keep Keyes alive for the cutscene where we save him? I'm starting to get the vibe they might keep him alive, or at least in a verbal state. Which, I guess it depends on how they do it. But, it always felt like a very tragic sense of drama that you'd fight so hard to get to rescue Captain Keyes, but then by the time you got there, it was just, you were just too late. Again, that depends on how they do it, and I could be off the mark. I could be, oh my god, you came out of the ceiling. I could be incorrectly assuming what their intentions are here. Some grenades would be nice. Oh. Oh, come on. Jesus fucking, I hate the insta melee so much. Also, why do I have a rocket launcher?
Control room should be this way.
Because I didn't have a rocket launcher when I went in here. Is the game giving me a pity rocket launcher? Like, what the... Whatever. I can't stand the audio stuttering. It's so bad. How was this approved to ship? And of course, for no reason at all, the game gives me a checkpoint now when it didn't before. It's borderline unplayable, honestly, with how obnoxious the stuttering is. Like, that's not even, because people are more forgiving of bad picture than bad sound. Like, if something looks kind of fuzzy and grainy, you can get away with that as long as it sounds good. But bad sound, our ears are very, very sensitive. People do not forgive bad sound. Something I learned very early when I was in high school and taking video classes is people value, it's a lot of people don't even really consciously think about that. But when you start making stuff, you start to realize how valuable it is to not have a sound mix that sounds like fucking this. And it's constant. It's not like, oh, once in a while the sound gets a little fucky. No, it's the whole goddamn game. Or at least anytime there's a significant amount of gunfire happening. Is that what causes it? Is it just if you're using any kind of rapid fire weapon like an SMG or an assault rifle? Is that what it is? Because I'm noticing as soon as I switch to the shotgun, it stopped happening. And it's not even that video stuttering is annoying, but it's not painful, whereas the audio stuttering is actually painful.
Chief!
How do we free him?
It's not him. Not anymore. The captain, he's one of them. We can't let the Flood get off this ring. You know what he'd expect. What he'd want us to do.
Oh, you cowards.
It's done. I have the code. We should go.
There are so many problems with what just happened, I don't even know where to begin. Okay, so problem one, you can't leave keys, you can't destroy, outright, okay. One, you're cowards for not showing keys, for not showing Chief just outright destroying his head, which you could see. It wasn't super clear in the original game because of the graphics, but it was clearer in Anniversary that what Chief does there is he full out caves Key's face in to pull out the neural implants. To make it so that one, because it's the fastest and most efficient way to get the neural implants out of Keyes' head, which is really pertinent given that they can't let the Flood escape this ring and every second counts to destroy it before they get a chance to do so. But the other thing is that the Chief knows by now that the Flood can revive body, like they can revive anything. They can revive the Covenant, they can revive themselves, and they can even revive humans. We see the reanimated Fireteam Zulu when we come back to Two Betrayals. We know that you can't leave Keyes there the way he is. One, because it puts him out of his misery, and two, because it represents a massive security risk. So just like punching a small hole in the side of his head to pull out the neural implants doesn't really have the same effect as outright destroying his brain. And not only that, but it also allows for, because people think that Chief expressed no emotion in the original game, but he did. You just have to actually, like, I don't know, pay attention to what happens. I'm now realizing they actually cut some of that in this game. They made him less expressive, the same way they did Cortana, because when you find Jenkins' helmet in the original game, Chief has this silent little head shake of disapproval, like, God damn it, I should have been here, I couldn't save him. You can see those you can feel those emotions coming through his expressions, even though he isn't saying anything. But that didn't happen in the newer version of the cutscene. And then here, in the original version, when he punches through Keyes' face, it's like he's mad at himself. Like, he should have gotten here faster. He should have been able to save the captain, but he wasn't. And now he feels responsible because he takes these losses very personally, because he really strongly values the lives of his fellow brothers in arms, and especially that of his superiors. So in him punching through, like, Cortana knows it has to be done, Chief knows it has to be done, and him punching through is a way to kind of let those emotions out and let him express those frustrations while also furthering the accomplishment of the mission. That was so lame. That was so lame.
Alert, I'm detecting multiple Covenant and Flood groups approaching the bridge.
Can I... Oh, there. Yeah, okay, there. I was waiting for that. The way I usually do this in the original game is I open the Covenant doors and the Flood doors at the same time, and then I let them go at it with each other. But the Covenant door was a little bit delayed, so I wasn't able to do it quite as... Oh my god. Oh my god. I need to get that rocket launcher that I saw. Hopefully the tank form went a different way. He didn't. Well, he did. He just is focusing on them instead. Okay. The key to getting through this room in the original is to let the Covenant and Flood kill each other, which is what's happening now. I just didn't do it as slickly as I would have liked because the timing of the doors was a little bit off, but I think we're okay. We're just gonna let them kill each other. Oh, and worth noting, that cutscene was terrible, but God, the room looks so cool. This is more like this is more like the Cortana mission, which for as much as people don't like the Cortana mission from Halo 3, the atmospherically speaking, really good job of showing how the Flood can make something almost unrecognizable once they get their hands on it. And it always serves as a nice reminder of what will happen to Earth if we fail the game. So I'm glad to see them incorporating those same changes into this as well, because it's the only game where you really don't get to see visually how badly the Flood can screw things up if they get into your systems. Yeah, I think they realized that the difficulty of this encounter is somewhat trivialized if you unleash the Covenant and Flood into the room at the same time, so they delayed the Covenant door from opening just a little bit, so that you can't as easily turn the two against each other, which makes sense. I think we just hanker down here for a bit and melee any infection forms to get near us, and hope that none of the other Flood realize we're here, which appears to be working out so far. Okay, I think the Covenant lost. I think they're... Oh, nope, the fight's still going on. Let me thin the herd a little bit. Oh my god, he's got a sword! Holy shit! Alright, let's chill. Let's take a chill. Oh, I was trying to land on that platform, didn't work out too well. What do we... Alright, I think this is a good time to use rockets. I think most of them have already been cleared out. Yeah, I think the Covenant did most of the work for me, which was the plan. You can't leave Keyes here hooked up to the wall, the Flood wall. But whatever, I already rant. I won't get into it again. I'm extremely disappointed with how that played out. Which is odd, because I did really like how... Nope, I wanted to grab the sword. I did really like the changes they made leading up to this cutscene, of hearing a bit more of what was going on with Keyes.
Let's go back to the shuttle bay and find a ride.
Now is when we get to see if they kept the 10 Spec Ops elites. I'm going to be very disappointed if they didn't keep the 10 Spec Ops elites, I'll tell you that right now. Uh-oh. Actually, you know what Okay, it still does damage. I wanted to find out how much damage the carrier forms do when they explode. They still do a good amount. Because, like, like I keep saying, I'm kind of still trained on the muscle memory of the original game, so I assume some things are the case, even when they may not necessarily be the case in the remake. And one of those was I was always assuming the carrier forms were dangerous when they may not be, but they are. They still are. Alright, I hear a fuel rod, which means that there should be Spec Ops grunts out around this corner. No? There should be Spec Ops grunts and elites out here. Where are they? I mean, okay, there were Spec Ops grunts here at least. But was it just you? Are there enemies down here? Okay, at least, oh god. At least they added some enemies down here. This is a good sign. Because what a lot of people do when they get to this part of the game is they just drop, they don't even bother going back down through the hallways. They try to just drop down the levels outside and go straight for the Banshees. So it is nice to see that the game, one, that the enemies are here, and two, that the built-in waypoint markers are actually trying to guide me through this path. I was fully expecting that to not be the case. I will say, though, it is a little disappointing how few enemies are here. Because it was a lot tougher to get through this part of the game in the original. I am happy to see that Spec Ops grunts and elites are in the game, though. Alright, I'm gonna hold on to the fuel rod gun and the sword and the shotgun, anticipating the 10 Spec Ops elites fight. Because in the original game, you don't have two of these weapons you don't have to work with. You only have the shotgun and the pistol. And really, you only have the shotgun. That's your most reliable weapon against those guys. Alright. Here we go.
Grab one of the Banshees and we'll use it to return to the Pillar of Autumn.
Are they here? They sure aren't. You motherfuckers. I loved this fight. I loved this fight. I really loved always coming back. This is one of my most anticipated parts of the game, was getting, because it's a really brutal challenge having to fight 10 Spec Ops elites. I mean, they don't send them all at you at once, obviously, because that would be fucking horrible. But they send them in waves of 2, and you gotta really know what you're doing to hold your own against them. But they're just not even here. Which, that blows. Oh, and, oh wait, maybe I spoke too soon. Hey, you know what Spec Ops elites couldn't do? One-hit kill you. That's what they couldn't do. They couldn't one-hit kill you. Yeah, okay. So there's like 2 Spec Ops elites all the way at the bottom of the ramp. Not really the same thing as the 10 Spec Ops elites from before. That is intensely disappointing. I mean, it's not like it's the first time in this game that they've cut encounters for no reason. But still, I was hoping. And that hope was not at all rewarded. And I probably shouldn't have expected it to be rewarded. You know what, honestly, it wouldn't even surprise me if the developers don't even know that this is in the original game. That honestly would not surprise me at all if they just were unaware that this was an encounter, that there was no explosion effect there. There was actually just no plasma explosion effects when I threw that grenade. That was great. That really shows me just how polished this game is.
To return to the Pillar of Autumn.
And again, Cortana sounds so chill. Even though she just watched Keyes brutally well, I guess not in this game. She watched Keyes succumb. Yeah, there's no explosion effect. There is no explosion effect for the plasma grenades. That's terrible. That's actually just terrible. Oh, but they sure. I love, so they need to correct the mistakes of the original game, you see. It's not fair to have 5 waves of 2 Spec Ops elites, totaling 10, that assault you, and they have plasma rifles, which can be fairly fought against. That's not good difficulty balancing. But you want to know what is good difficulty balancing? Having 5 grunts, all of whom have insta-kill fuel rod grunts, in addition to 2 other Spec Ops elites. That's what we call, that's how you actually design a video game. Not like that shitty way that it did in 2001. I mean, what kind of idiot would do that? Alright, well, Just clear out these guys, and then we should be home free. Didn't really get off the same vibes as the original, where a whole Covenant army was shooting at you as you were flying out. Oh, it's already worse. It's already worse. It was way more impactful when it started on the sand and drifted up towards the maw instead of opening on the maw. The Pillar of Autumn.
Thing is falling apart.
It'll hold.
We're not gonna make it.
We'll make it.
Pull up! Pull up! You did that on purpose, didn't you?
There must have been something wrong with the coordinate data.
By the way. Oh. Cool. When I was talking about Cortana earlier, I had to stop myself because I was like, wait a minute. Did I call her the wrong name? Isn't she the weapon? No, she's supposed to be Cortana, right. Just my silly brain, when I hear her voice, I automatically think, oh, that's obviously the weapon, because that's obviously the way that she's being directed to sound. But I'm like, oh, no, that's Cortana. Ignore what your ears are telling you. That is actually supposed to be Cortana, allegedly. Okay, well, so the level itself was fine. The level itself was, up until the end, it was fine. Well, actually, no, I get, the bones of the level, the geometry of the level, the layout of the level was all fine. That was all fine. The Captain Keyes' room was overwhelmingly floodified. There was a nice escalation there. That was all really cool. The fact that they took away several major encounters and replaced them with worse ones, especially right at the end, that's not great. Active camo being worthless completely takes away from a major part of the exterior coolant sections. We got our first taste today of how badly Sprint breaks the game by allowing you to literally run past absolutely everything. The coolant's not being able to, you keep not being able to swim to the coolant is kind of lame. And they totally ruined the cutscene where Captain Keyes dies. They absolutely destroyed that. Which is why it's so hard to talk about this game, because it is, this is the most, I think, bipolar experience I've ever had with a video game. I just, every other episode, it goes back and forth as to whether I love this game or I hate it, or I'm somewhere in between. I don't even know anymore. But it's been an experience. It has certainly been an experience. Okay, that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for the finale of the main campaign for Halo Campaign Evolved. Goodbye.